Well, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. This is the Unintentional ASMR Book Club. If you're new here, thanks for joining in. You're just in time with the bedtime stories. Tonight's book is called Mad Honey, and this is the second reading of this book. So now I will continue from where I left off in the first reading. So, let's begin. My father taught me that beekeeping is both a burden and a privilege. You don't bother the bees unless they need your help, and you help them when they need it. It's a feudal relationship, protection in return for a percentage of the fruits of their labors. He taught me that if a body is easily crushed, it develops a weapon to prevent that from happening. He taught me that sudden movements get you stung. I took these lessons a bit too much to heart. On the day of my father's funeral, and years later, on the day of my mother's, I told the bees. It's an old tradition to inform them of a death in the family. If a beekeeper dies and the bees aren't asked to stay on with their new master, they'll leave. In New Hampshire, the custom is to sing, and the news has to rhyme. So I draped each colony with black crepe, knocked softly, crooned the truth. My beekeeping net became a funeral veil. The hive might well have been a coffin. By the time I come downstairs that morning, Asher is in the kitchen. We have a deal. Whoever gets up first makes the coffee. My mug still has a wisp of steam rising. He is shoveling cereal into his mouth, absorbed in his phone. Morning, I say, and he grunts in response. For a moment I let myself stare at him. It's hard to believe that the soft-scented little boy who would cry when his hands got sticky with propolis from the hives can now lift a super full of 40 pounds of honey as if it weighs no more than his hockey stick. Asher is over 6 feet tall, but even as he was growing, he was never ungainly. He moves with the kind of grace you find in wildcats, the ones that can steal away a kitten or a chick before you even realize they've gone. Asher has my blonde hair and the same ghost green eyes, for which I have always been grateful. He carries his father's last name, but if I also had to say Braden every time I looked at my son, it would be that much harder. I catalogue the breadth of his shoulders, the damp curls at the nape of his neck, the way the tendons in his forearms shift and play as he scrolls through his texts. It's shocking sometimes to be confronted with this when a second ago he sat on my shoulders trying to pull down a star and unravel a thread of the night. No practice this morning? I asked, taking a sip of my coffee. Asher has been playing hockey as long as we've lived here. He skates as effortlessly as he walks. He was made captain as a junior and re-elected this year as a senior. I never can remember whether they have rink time before school or after, as it changes daily. His lips tug with a slight smile, and he types a response into his phone but doesn't answer. "Hello," I say. I slip a piece of bread into the ancient toaster, which is jerry-rigged with duct tape that occasionally catches on fire. Breakfast for me is always toast and honey, never in short supply. "I guess you have practice later," I try, and then provide the answer that Asher doesn't. "Why, yes, Mom. Thanks for taking such an active interest in my life." I fold my arms across my boxy cable-knit sweater. "Am I too old to wear this tube top?" I ask lightly. Silence. "I'm sorry I won't be here for dinner, but I'm running away with a cult." I narrow my eyes. I posted that naked photo of you as a toddler on Instagram for a throwback Thursday. Asher grunts non-committally. My toast pops up. I spread it with honey and slide into the chair directly across from Asher. "I'd really prefer that you not use my MasterCard to pay for your Pornhub subscription." His eyes snap to mine so fast, I think I can hear his neck crack. "What?" "Oh, hey," I say smoothly. "Nice to have your attention." Asher shakes his head, but he puts down his phone. "I didn't use your MasterCard," he says. "I know. I used your Amex." I burst out laughing. Also, "Never ever wear a tube top," he says. Jesus. "So you were listening." "How could I not?" Asher winces. "Just for the record, nobody else's mom talks about porn over breakfast." "Well, aren't you the lucky one then?" "Well," he says, shrugging. "Yeah." He lifts his coffee mug, clinks it to mine, and sips. I don't know what other parents' relationships are like with their children, but the one between me and Asher was forged in fire, and maybe for that reason is invincible, even though he'd rather be caught dead than have me throw my arms around him after winning a game, when it's just the two of us. We are our own universe, a moon and a planet tied together in orbit. Asher may not have grown up in a household with two parents, but the one he has would fight to the death for him. "Speaking of porn," I reply, "how's Lily?" He chokes on his coffee. "If you love me, you will never say that sentence again." Alright, so that was part 2 of that reading. I hope you enjoyed listening to that reading. It's late and I'm really getting tired. over here. So if you do like that reading, give it a like on YouTube and share it. Also, don't forget to subscribe. The button is right there under this video. Click on it. It's free. Also, I wish you well. I wish you have a great night and sleep well if you're gonna sleep soon, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.